Hello everyone, I am Jency Teresa, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, St. Joseph's College, Ernakulam. Today we are going to see an important topic in company accounts, that is liquidation of companies. What is liquidation? As we all know, a company is a creation of law. So, the life of a company can be ended only by a legal process known as winding up or liquidation. So, liquidation is a legal process by which the affairs of a company are brought to an end, and that is through the application of law. And for this purpose, a particular person known as a liquidator is appointed. And the duties, what are the duties of a liquidator? That is, he'll realize all the assets and the amounts thus realized will be utilized for the payment of capital and to the creditors. Two terms, liquidation and insolvency. Though they may seem to be the same, that is, we synonymously use these two terms, liquidation and insolvency, but there are differences between these two terms. Let us see what is liquidation first. That is, liquidation is applicable to joint stock companies. So, only in the case of companies we will call it as liquidation. And so, since liquidation is related with companies, it is governed by the Companies Act. The appointment of liquidator, his responsibilities, the proceedings, the order of payment, everything will be given in the Companies Act. And the proceedings taken up by the liquidator is known as the liquidation proceedings. And in the case of liquidation, the assets of the company will be with the liquidator. So that's all about liquidation. So understand, liquidation is all about joint stock companies. It has to do with joint stock companies alone. And in the case of insolvency, it's not like that. It is applicable to other forms of business organizations other than the company. That is, it is applicable to individuals, partnership firms, and Hindu undivided families. And this is governed by the Insolvency Act. And the proceedings are known as the insolvency proceedings. And the person who is appointed in the case of insolvency is known as the official receiver or the official assignee. Next is the modes of liquidation or winding up. There are mainly three types of winding up according to the Companies Act 2013. That is, first is the compulsory winding up, second is voluntary winding up, and the last, winding up under the supervision of the court. You can see in the diagram as well, that is the three types of winding up, and the voluntary winding up is split into two types. That is, it can be members voluntary winding up and creditors voluntary winding up. First is the compulsory winding up. That is, there is the very name itself, from the very name itself, it's quite clear that there is some sort of compulsion in the case of this type of winding up. That's why it's known as a compulsory winding up. So the company has got no option other than winding up the company. And in such a case, it is wound up by the National Company Law Tribunal. And the company will be wound up by the National Company Law Tribunal only in the following condition, in the following circumstances or situations. One is, the company has by a special resolution resolved that the company be wound up by the tribunal. That is, it has passed a resolution in the meeting that it is going to be wound up. Next is, a default is made in filing the statutory report with the registrar. That is, there are some reports which should be mandatorily filed with the registrar of companies. If the company has defaulted in filing all these reports, then the company has to go for compulsory winding up. Or else, the company has defaulted in holding the statutory meeting. That is, the company will have to convene certain types of meetings like the AGM, annual general meeting and all. And if the company has failed in convening such meetings, the company will have to go for compulsory winding. Next is the company, if the company does not commence its business within a year from the incorporation. Incorporation is like the birth of the company. If the company has not started its business within a year of its incorporation, then it has to go for compulsory winding up. Or it can be a case of suspension of business, that is, if the company has suspended its business for a whole year, then it has to go for compulsory winding up. And next is the case of the minimum requirements in the case of members. That is, for a public sector company, the public sector company should have at least 7 members, and in the case of private sector companies, it is 2. If the company has if the company has failed to maintain the statutory minimum below 7 and below 2, then it has to go for compulsory winding up. And another situation is it is unable to pay its debts. The company cannot pay off its debts. In such a case also, compulsory winding up will be applied. Or else the tribunal is of the opinion that it is just and equitable to wind up the company. The tribunal feels that it's better to wind up the company. In such a case also, the company will go for compulsory winding up. And in this diagram you can see the parties who will be applying for compulsory winding up, who is going to give the petition for winding up to the tribunal. It can be the company itself, any creditor, any contributory, any person authorized by the central government, the registrar, or all or any of the parties together. So these are the persons who can give petition to the tribunal for calling up a compulsory winding up. And when will compulsory winding up start? The compulsory winding up will start from the date of presentation of petition for winding up. So any of these parties, if they are giving a petition to the tribunal to start the compulsory winding up, from that particular date onwards, the winding up procedure is supposed to start. Next is voluntary winding up. Voluntary winding up is not by any external party. There is no compulsion. That is purely it's the decision of the company itself. So in that situation, in the case of voluntary winding up, there is no interference of the court or the National Company Law Tribunal. There's different circumstances are, like if the period fixed for the duration of the company has expired, that is, at the time of formation of the company itself, they will specify for what period the company is going to operate. Say 3 years, the company is going to operate only for 3 years. And if that 3 years are over, then the company will get wound up. Or it can be another situation like at the time of formation of the company itself, the company has specified that on occurrence of a particular event, the company will wind up the business. And if that particular event has occurred, and in such a situation also, the company will go for voluntary winding up. And in both these cases, whether the duration of the company has expired or the event has occurred, the company in the general meeting will pass an ordinary resolution stating that it is going to be wound up. And the second main situation is that if the company passes a special resolution to wind up voluntarily, that is, the company itself without having any of the aforesaid reasons, they are winding up the company by passing a special resolution. So in such a case also, without any reason, there will be reasons, but the reasons will be something other than the expiry of the period or the happening of an event and all. Some other reasons might be there, and due to that, the company is getting wound up. And there are 2 types of voluntary winding up. One is members voluntary winding up. That is, the company is always solvent in this case, only if the company is solvent. If the company is able to pay off its liabilities, the assets are more than its liabilities, only in such a case it can go for members voluntary winding up, and the members will be initiating the winding up process. And in such a situation, in such a case, in the meeting, the directors of the company should furnish a declaration of solvency, and it should declare that it has no dues to any of the outside parties, or but mostly that won't be the case. The companies will be having some liabilities. So in such a case, it can give a declaration that all such dues or debts will be paid in full within 3 years of the commencement of the insolvency proceedings. Next is the creditors voluntary winding up. The winding up of the company by the creditors, that is usually it happens when the company is insolvent. That is, the creditors will feel that they are not going to get back their money, and in such a case they will call for winding up of the company. And such a voluntary winding up initiated by the creditors is known as creditors voluntary winding up. And in such a situation, the directors will convene the meeting of the creditors of the company, and a statement of affairs along with the list of creditors and their estimated claims will be given in the meeting. Lastly, the winding up under the supervision of the court. So in this case, the court is asked to supervise the winding up process. That may be due to some situations, like the court will be asked to supervise the liquidation process if any creditor or any contributory or the liquidator or the company gives an application to the court, and if that will be initiated when a liquidator under voluntary winding up is prejudiced. That is, some of these parties feels that the liquidator is prejudiced or he is negligent in delivering his duties. In such a case, they can ask for supervision of the court, or they feel that the resolution for winding up was obtained by fraud. So if they feel that the resolution for winding up was obtained by fraud, some malpractices has occurred, and the winding up decision was taken up due to that, then in such a case also the court will be asked to supervise the winding up process. So thank you so much for your patient listening. Hope you had a good time. Thank you so much.